So the wind is coming down the picture at the moment, it's pushing us onto the pontoon. So I've taken that stern line off, and I'm just sorting out this bow line so that it's ready to slip, and moving this fender around to the other side. Now as you move forward with a little bit of gear now, I'm noticing that the spring line isn't quite not right, so I'm kind of getting onto the pontoon, giving a bit of a shove to relocate the bow, so it sits a little bit nicer for this position. So you can see the bow line's still really loose, the spring line's still really loose. The moment you give it a little bit more gear now, you can see that power coming out the back of the boat. There we go. Transom comes out, that loads on, and now you start to reverse out. You see exactly how that works as a bow spring. Then I let the line go, let it off, and then we go away for it. That's where the communication is so important between the crew and the helm, that you need to be really clear about what you're telling them, and you need to be very confident in your shout to say I'm going astern, so the crew knows to release that line, because if that line's still released and you've wellied that astern, you're in a world of trouble. So this is our second springing off attempt, which wasn't quite as successful. So you can see the bow line is loose here. You go forward now, which rotates the bow out a little bit, but then you go astern far too fast without the bow going in and the stern coming out. So now we're going far too fast backwards. I'm struggling to get the line off quick enough, and then you realise something's wrong and power in forwards, boom. But you look at the orientation of the boat now, we're pretty much parallel to the pontoon. So the springing off hasn't really done anything for us, because we didn't go forwards long enough to get the bow in and the stern out. If there was any more breeze than that, then we really would have ended up down on the pontoon. So have another watch over that one, have a little look through about having more power in forwards to put the bow into the pontoon, pivoting it around to then get the stern out. This nice one does to have a look at where the water's going with regard to the boat. So we've got the washer of the engine outlet coming out the starboard quarter. Now what I want you to look at is in the bow where you use bow thruster. The bow thruster goes the wrong way. In 2, 1, that's bow thruster going the wrong way. Then you correct it with a load of it from the other side to go bow to starboard. But really, you just need a little bit more bow to starboard, because that would then rotate the stern around and you'd be able to get the transom into your corner of the berth. Whereas at the moment, we're still reversing back the wrong way. So we've corrected it with a load of forwards. Now the boat's stationary. Ideally, we now need to go out and reassess this and readjust, because there's not a boat next to us. We're kind of okay in this middle of this pontoon. It's sort of letting us get away with murder a little bit. So we're going backwards again. Really, we need to have that the transom further over towards our corner of the pontoon, which is obviously on the right hand side. So port side 2, and we've gone over here. What we need now, you're going to go backwards a second. What we need now is just a handful of bow thruster to port. Handful of bow thruster to port, that will rotate the boat around really nicely. Transom gets super close and you get panicked, and we go a handful of forward. What this was though, is this was at the start where we were getting a little bit nervous with being close to the dock. And towards the end of the session, you did get much better with your helm movements of this. Here, you're still being quite, for want of a better expression, ham-fisted and using. Okay, so we're coming back into this. We've started a little bit further away, and we're coming back into our pontoon, and we're going into our pontoon, which is top right. Still, breeze is coming down the screen. Now, what we need to do is start turning. We need to start rotating the boat around here already, because at the moment we're already too late. There, we're starting to turn. But you can see the trajectory of the boat with that breeze still pushing us down. It's just pushing that transom away from us. So we really need to either load a bow thruster, a little bit of helm to port with a little bit forward perhaps to rotate the bow around, but I can't envisage we'll have the space forward with the pontoon to do that. So ideally we just need to start our turn a little bit earlier and get the transom further upwind towards our space first. At the moment we're again stuck in an area of no man's land, side onto the breeze. See, that's where the pontoon is, so we didn't have space at all, so we need to be further upwind before we start our turn. I think this is where my drone starts to run out of battery, so unfortunately we've run out of usable footage. So not the greatest footage this time, and that's simply just because of those issues with my drone batteries. And hopefully next time we'll be able to get something a little bit more constructive for you. But the view angles do give a nice idea of where what the throttle inputs do on the boat, especially with regard to the bow thruster, but also when you've got rudder angle on and you apply a load of forwards, you can really see the prop wash and which way it comes out, and also when you apply reverse, you can see the prop walk will take the transom to port. Nevertheless, it was a very jolly afternoon boating, and look forward to working with you again.